How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to be talking about our next character coming in the next patch, which is going to be Rappa, which honestly from the stream and also from the highlights page, we don't really get a lot of information about her in regards to her as a DPS and what makes her unique, which is a little bit concerning when it comes to trying to distinguish her versus all of her other teammates that we're going to be looking at, especially since she is going to be a super break slash break character. We can only compare her to someone like Firefly and someone like boothill because these are her direct competitors. Of course, they always have their own way to be able to differentiate themselves. When it comes to Firefly's better in AoE situations, boothill's better in something like single target or doing as much damage as possible and not needing to be tied to HMC. While we have someone like Rappa, who seems to be our pure fiction type of character for the break archetype. And realistically, looking at this and how Erudition usually is, it's a little concerning. Just because, as always with the Erudition path, it's been filled with a lot of characters that just haven't been, as of late, good in the meta for the most part. When it comes to only being good in pure fiction, not really good anywhere else. We had characters like Jade, a really massive skip that a lot of people didn't go for. We had characters like Argenti, same thing that goes, did not get pulled for as much because he was basically a pure fiction buy. Now he can be used sometimes in MOC when there is a lot of enemies on the field, but for the most part doesn't really get used anywhere else but pure fiction. So right now Rappa's in a really weird spot when it comes to looking at what she's able to do, and the only extra thing we get from the highlights page that isn't already what we've already known, where she can do AoE with her skill and her ultimate basically gives her enhanced basic attacks, is that she can give more break damage when they're already broken. So that means more super break, which means a lot of extra damage when you are hitting them already with her enhanced basics, doing as much damage as you possibly can. So this is cool and all, but realistically I am concerned a little bit in regards to Rappa's power, and I'm really overall concerned about the Erudition path as a whole, because if we go into the game realistically, and it sucks to look at it like this because I don't want a path to be specifically a full-on every time they come skip. Right now we're looking at who we have. Jade, I'm gonna be picking her up on the next time she comes. She's the only character I've ever skipped in Star Rail. I am gonna pick her back up when she comes back just because I like having every character. But Jade was an insane skip. A lot of people did not want to pull her just because for all the teams that she was supposed to be on, there's already a better teammate, or there's already a better team that's going to be a part of that eventually, and she just doesn't really have a really nice place in the meta, besides if you really wanted a universal pure fiction character, which is a really good purpose to have her for if you wanted her for that reason. But other than that, meta wise, MOC, Apocalyptic Shadow, you're really gonna pull out Jade if you have every other character like break, follow-up, all these other different types of teams that we're looking at coming out very soon. And especially with all these future characters coming out, Jade didn't seem like the best of picks at the current moment. Same thing goes for Argenti. Argenti was also another pick that a lot of people just didn't resonate with. A lot of people didn't want to get at the time. He came at a really bad time at that. We had REHOO, we had Dr. Ratio as good as he was, and then we have Black Swan Sparkle coming up in the next patch after around Argenti's patch, or we knew we were going to Penacani. So there really wasn't a good spot to be pulling for Argenti. So it really does make it hard. And nonetheless, that goes for the same towards something like Rappa, because remember, we are going into 2.7 after this, if I'm not wrong. Yes, it is 2.7. We are getting Ting Yun and Sunday. Sunday being a Harmony character, which we all know Harmony characters usually are the bang for your buck. These are usually the more broken characters in the game that are usually high in value, stay in the meta for a very long time, and usually have a universal lifespan, just because you can eventually pull them out if you need to, or if there's a character that absolutely wants them. Basically an example, Bronya is still really good, but you're not going to be using Bronya if you have Sparkle for the most part, just because Sparkle gives you those extra skill points, Sparkle gives you that extra crit, and being able to give you a bunch of other boosts. But Bronya is still really good if you wanted to use her. Same thing goes for our super supports, REHOO and Robin. I don't have to explain them very much. These are the two most broken characters in the game, and seeing that we're gonna have Sunday very soon, yeah, there's another Harmony character that we're gonna have to wait and see. Is this going to be another super support in the likes of REHOO and Robin, or are we going to get another Sparkle, Bronya, HMC situation where it's going to be a really nice support, probably even a universal support, and just be really good investment to your account? Not only that, we also are looking towards a Nihility character, which is going to be Fuge, I think that was the name of the character that is supposed to be 5-star Ting Yun. And as we may know, again, Nihility characters are really great. Nihility characters are also in that harmony section where they're the biggest bang for your buck character, because these are the more general characters that can be fit on multiple different teams. We got characters like Pella, we got characters like Silverwolf and Jiao Shou and Black Swan. These three characters overall can just be fit on so many different teams just because of all the stat boosts that you're able to do with these characters. You have Black Swan being able to reduce defense, being able to reduce resistance, Jiao Shou being able to boost ultimate damage, being able to boost all the different types of damage received, Silverwolf being able to implant all the different debuffs that she has, and same thing for Pella, defense reduce, the main thing that we're going to be using her for. And of course, when you get E4, you have that ice res reduce, which is really big for her as well, which we haven't gotten an ice DPS in a long time. But overall, Nihility and Harmony are really big value paths, while something like Erudition doesn't really get summoned on that much. And that kind of worries me with Rappa, because like I said, we haven't gotten a lot of information about Rappa besides that her skill hits the whole wave, her ultimate gives her enhanced basics, and her enhanced basics hit blast or AoE. It hits 3 enemies at the same time, and then on the final hit, it hits the full wave. So there is some really interesting things that could come off of that, but we do not know a lot of stuff in regards to the specifics, which we are definitely gonna have to wait for. Boothill and also Firefly at the moment seem to still be the better break characters than someone like Rappa, and especially with Rappa being part of the Erudition path, I hope that she's not relegated to just pure fiction. It would be really bad in my honest opinion. Just for me personally, because I really do like Rappa. I like her design, like the way she plays. She looks really cool. I don't want to have a character that is only stuck to pure fiction, just because Erudition has just been very famously known to be pure fiction bot, and that kind of sucks to see a character get relegated to that one mode and never be used anywhere else. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully she's being able to be used in MOC or possibly Apocalyptic Shadow in the future. She does have some competition though with going against Boothill and also Firefly. Now we do know that Rappa is able to go against different typings without having to worry about the weakness itself. So I don't think she weakness implants at all, in my opinion. Of course, they didn't tell us that in the stream, so I don't know if they did so. But I don't think she weakness plants at all. So she's very different from Firefly and also Boothill already, with being able to attack without having to worry about the element itself. Now, Firefly does have this on adjacent hitting enemies when she's in her ultimate, but Firefly has so many different things that allow her to do so much damage when it comes to being able to have an AoE skill, being able to advance forward herself, which is a pretty big deal, being able to get more break effect off of her attack. There's a lot of stuff that can happen, and we're gonna have to wait and see if Rappa has the ability to do so with the advanced forwarding, because that's a pretty big thing, allowing them to take a bunch of different turns. Or will Rappa be in the same situation as Boothill, where Boothill feels like he has parts of his kit missing, where it's like, oh, you might have a lot of damage, you might be able to do this without someone else, but you are lacking a little bit in speed. You kind of need that advanced forward. There's a lot of things that could happen with the break team right now that could put Rappa apart from Boothill and Firefly, but there's also a lot of other things that, well, we're just gonna have to wait and see what she's able to do before we can put a full pin on it if you're supposed to skip or not. Right now, she does look like a skip, especially with all the characters that are coming out in the future that I will be making a video about. We have Acheron coming out, very big pickup, probably one of the biggest pickups you could possibly get for, and probably the MVP of the patch realistically when it comes to summons. And then you have someone like Aventurine as well, and also a god tier sustain, really good for the follow-up team or follow-up archetype, and good for Acheron herself as well. There's a lot of different teams that he fits on, so realistically Aventurine and Acheron have a much higher pull priority than someone like Rappa, without a doubt. Without a doubt, even without seeing what Rappa does, pulling for someone like Aventurine, pulling for someone like Acheron are definitely going to be high priority picks over something like Rappa, because we already have someone like Firefly if you already pulled her, and we already have someone like Boothill if you already pulled him as well. And we also have Sunday, we have Ting Yun, and we have whatever else is going to come in the new region for a new meta, because we are steadily getting closer to a new region, which means a brand new meta, which means brand new mechanics, which means brand new units, and much more hype. And not only that, someone also reminded me on my stream, so make sure to come out to the streams, because I'm trying to do them more often at twitch.tv/REHOO. We gotta forget, the fake collab is still gonna be here. The fake collab is going to be here, although next year it's still something to save for, because that's going to be a very big event. That's going to be a, either you E6 them now or you're never going to have them E6. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to think about when it comes to summoning for these characters, and Rappa specifically just doesn't have a lot right now in terms of pull priority or wanting to pull for. That we're gonna have to see. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Let me know what y'all guys think about Rappa, and other than that, see y'all guys in the next one, and peace.